with that. Now, tonight, for the first time in its history, the leader of the British National Party, Nick Griffin, will appear on the BBC's political panel show Question Time, along with Labour Justice Secretary Jack Straw, Tory spokeswoman Saida Warsi, Liberal Democrat Home Affairs spokesperson Chris Hewson, and African-American playwright Bonnie Greer. Ever since the announcement, the debate as to whether or not he should be allowed to appear has been rife. Supporters of the decision say that this is the price Britain pays for free speech, and the BBC has a duty to reflect different opinions. Opponents, on the other hand, say that any party whose members have been found guilty of inciting racial hatred and whose views could be offensive should not be given either the airtime or the publicity. So, should the leader of the BNP, that's Nick Griffin, should he be allowed to appear on Question Time?
It's such a hard one. I'm Jewish, and therefore, of course, I abhor anything that him or his party stand for or what they've said. And I don't want to see them on my TV or him on my TV. However, there is a little bit of me that says, you know, if he can go up there and say what he can, and there are people there that can confront him strongly. Apparently, there are some people that are Holocaust survivors and some victims of racial hatred who have got tickets and are going to be in the audience. One hopes that if they can get up there and state their case, then maybe he can be toned down and people that might have agreed with him will realise how appallingly wrong he is. However, obviously, you know, and that goes with the sort of freedom of speech argument that people should be allowed. But obviously, in my heart, I don't want him anywhere near my television.
So are you saying the only reason that you think that he should be allowed on is because you would like to see him shot down in flames?
Frankly, yeah. And is that the right reason to say he should be there? Probably not. And the problem is he's a really clever man.
But this is what worries me, you see, the fact that he is such a clever man and such a clever orator. But I just feel, as you mentioned, those people have got tickets and going, but I just, you know, imagine if one was a survivor of the Holocaust or somebody who had suffered racial abuse, how it must feel to see this man giving a vehicle. I mean, the fact that the BBC are allowing him on means that we are discussing him on this show, as he has been discussed on several other shows. And I just wonder about some of the viewers in these times of trouble being drawn into Nick Griffin's Nick Griffin's world at a time that we are suffering, you know, problems with immigration, etc.
The main reason, of course, that the BBC is allowing him on is we have to remember that the BNP gained nearly 1 million votes in the European elections. So Nick Griffin and Andrew Braun, they have been elected as MEPs. So therefore, following on from, you know, allowing the Green Party and other parties who maybe are in the minority to be allowed to speak.
I understand that the BBC have to show impartiality as regards the parties, and I do understand that, but I think that there is a limit, and I think that anybody who has been accused of the type of racial hatred that Nick Griffin has, the fact that he's a Holocaust denier, which I'm afraid I've never understood how you can deny the Holocaust, but apparently he does. I don't think he should be given a vehicle.
He's called the Holocaust in the past Allied propaganda, so I don't know if that's necessarily as strong as...
He's also called it the Holocaust, so, you know, he does deny it. But the thing is, I don't think this man should be allowed anywhere near our TVs, because, first of all, he is a very clever man, and he can be very easily misinterpreted. And I think the country's in such a terrible state now, and we've been failed by our government as it is. We all want change, and I think there are a lot of us that are very naive and susceptible, and that we can listen to a man like that. I've heard him speak, not at a rally, I hear to say, but I have heard him speak, and he can manipulate people very easily, and you can misinterpret what he's saying. So the very naive of us, and the ones that are ready for change, will listen to him and possibly go along with it and think, actually, he's making sense. And we want a change. Now, is this a change? What they don't understand is what he's actually saying.
But, Sherrie, obviously he would deny that, and that's your opinion. But what are you saying that the fact that he's being given a platform, and perhaps, you know, the name Nick Griffin, the name the BNP, it's something that people they've kind of heard of, but they're not necessarily sure about the exact... what exactly they stand for. But the fact that we're putting them on TV, do you think that's giving them credibility? Is that what you're saying?
We've all seen secret footage. We've all seen secret footage.
And of course it's giving him credibility, and it's putting him alongside people that have credibility, and he shouldn't even be there. I mean, he's actually said that there's going to be and hysterical atmosphere when he gets to the studio and he wants police protection. Well, that's the beginning. He said it will be hysterical in the studio. In fact, he probably won't be able to speak. It will be so volatile.
Do you know how much it's costing? It's costing absolute trillions to actually have him there tonight.
The BBC absolutely should ally them, but they are under no jurisdiction to invite him on. They have just decided to do it.
I don't think in this country, at the state we're in now, we need somebody on television like him speaking and telling what he's about to say, and that we might misinterpret
it as being... people are so desperate for change.
Absolutely, and being for the good of the country.
We are a democracy and we are supposed to have freedom of speech in this country, so...
Absolutely.
Hypocritical, maybe.
You can have your